Judging on these set photos on the Flash Season 8, we're gonna see that Barry Allen will be having his golden boots like he does in the comics. But there's also some set photos of him wearing the Reverse Flash's costume. So what does this mean? Well, I decided to do a theory video. Now the most popular theory is that this is either Reverse Flash taking over Barry's body, or Reverse Flash using Barry from another universe. So essentially speaking, Barry Allen from a different universe. And now I think that was the more likely one. But the question is, why will Barry have gold boots? Will he just paint them yellow? Nah, not really, because that's going to be the most bullshit excuse for them to have, hey, we want Barry Allen to have golden boots. Well, and here's a theory of mine. Maybe his boots are still red, but they're maybe just on fire. What I mean by on fire is that from our visual perspective, it's not burning. Obviously not, because how are you gonna have like boots that could be on fire? So maybe what we're seeing is a set photo of him having like boots on fire. You know, kind of like how whenever Heatwave fights the Flash, he's able to fire at the boots at the most parts, and sometimes his boots do catch fire. But here's the thing. I think that's the theory, but not using Heatwave. I think here's the most likely theory. I have two theories on what will happen. So my first theory is that either this is an alternate version of Barry, but is more like Punisher. What I mean by that is not that, oh yeah, he's basically Punisher, sure, with like super speed, but he uses Punisher methods. He acts more like the Punisher instead of normal speedsters. He uses guns, he uses knives, axes, and a lot of horrible stuff. He like messes up his foes. Maybe that's an alternate version of Barry Allen from a different universe that on his universe was probably all fell on a window by Oliver Queen in that universe, who was pretty much the same in like the season 1 Oliver. And because of that, Barry then goes to the dark side, and then essentially speaking, Mirror Master from that universe does the same thing to Barry, and it makes him go crazy, and that's why he becomes a almost Punisher Flash like, and so travels to the main universe to kill both Oliver Queen and the Mirror Master. But it's either Sam Scudder or Eva McCulloch, but unfortunately, Eva will be in the mirror dimension, and Scudder, according to Arrowverse status, is still unknown. And we obviously know Oliver Queen is dead. So, and this leaves Barry broken. He wants to get his revenge for what both Green Arrow and Mirror Master technically did to him. And so he goes on this like almost, so basically what I'm saying is that this is like a Punisher Jigsaw version of the Flash, you know, with messed up face, almost Punisher using methods, just, you know, a speedster. But I think my other theory is the more likely one. Now, the reason to say my first theory was not that likely was because Jigsaw and Punisher really aren't very similar to many Flash villains. I guess you can argue maybe Jigsaw could be like his Reverse Flash, but according to Wikipedia, Jigsaw is just considered a normal enemy of the Punisher. Sure. I guess Jigsaw you can kind of consider closer to the likes of like maybe the Top or other characters that are like messed up. And Flash doesn't really have that many villains. You can argue, what about Murmur? Murmur and Jigsaw really are not that similar. Um, but I think my next theory is a lot more obvious. Now, here is my second theory. Barry, because Despero and Barry are gonna have interactions, judging by these set photos, maybe Despero sends Barry to hell, and Barry realizes there's no way out of there. But the only way to get out of there is to become the spirit of death, of the spirit of vengeance. Why the spirit of death? So essentially speaking, he's gonna become the Ghost Rider, essentially. With the flaming skull and in his suit. Like, imagine how, and maybe that could explain why in some set photos Barry is wearing a black Flash suit. Maybe, like, saying a black color Flash suit. Dude, like you saw in some of Paige's videos with just gold boots. Maybe that is Ghost Rider Flash. Now, the same actually is a thing in the comics, where whereas when DC and Marvel did the Amalgam Universe, they combined the Flash with Ghost Rider, but more accurately, Flash, Etrigan, and Ghost Rider. They named the character Speed Demon, and while there's been a lot of Speed Demons in comics, you have one from Marvel who is an enemy of Spider-Man for some reason. You have one who's in DC who's an enemy of the Flash, more specifically Wally West. You also have two from the Amalgam. One was with Jay Garrick and Phantom Rider, and the other was Wally West and Danny Ketch. And obviously the one we're talking about is Blaze Allen, Barry Allen, and Johnny Blaze. I said in my Who is the Main Villain of the Flash Season 8 that maybe they could potentially use the character of the Red Death. But judging by these set photos, it looks like they're not using it. Maybe they're just going to go for a typical Flash Ghost Rider-ish. I don't know. But what do you think is going to be happening to Barry Allen in Season 8? Please leave it down in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like this video, share this video, and I'll see you next time.